Hello and welcome. It's that time of year again when I look ahead to the energetic themes and how they're going to be impacting you and your business. 2024 is an 8 year. An 8 year is, numerologically speaking, is all about creativity and creative expression. It's a time to really bring your vision and your ideas and your desires into a deeper level of embodiment, and that's 2024 is going to begin in which we with a bit of a challenge, the themes that I'm for everybody today. And if you've been feeling those 2024 energies already, then you will already be aware of this challenge. It's really going to ask all of us to get to understand who we are better. So it's going to be presenting all the way through the year. There are going to be 3 core questions that are going to come up again and again and again until we get to the right level of depth of understanding of them. And those 3 questions are: who am I? What do I do? And why do I do it? These are very, very important questions. They're fundamental to our sense of purpose and fulfillment and our sense of creative expression in our lives. So those are going to be very important for us moving forward. Now, answering those questions is not as easy as we would like to think that it is. And the problem with this energy that we're moving into is that unless we answer those questions, we're not going to enter the flow of the energy. Now, the energy itself, when you're in it, has a very rhythmic, steady flow. It's not, there's no peaks or there's no troughs. It's like a consistent forward movement. But in order to get into that movement, we have to let go of any old sense of identity and patterns and beliefs that are holding us out of it. When we do that, that's when we manage to go through this process of dropping deep into ourselves. Now, I know a lot of people who have been in that place this year. They've dropped deep into themselves, and the idea of going there again is not one that they relish. They really want to be moving out. What I can say is that when that flow of energy felt like it was a short stay, and that actually the real gold of the energy is come to terms with dropping into that energy and feeling comfortable with the process, because that's what leads to coming out the other side, coming into emergence. And as we come into emergence, we're going to move into a flow of much deeper, more profound self-expression, where we're going to know why we're here and what we're doing and have more confidence to step forward, which is, of course, very important in the business context. But it's also very important for us in a life context, because the more that we can feel ourselves and act ourselves, the more enjoyment we get out of life and the more fulfilled we feel and the more we offer and contribute to other people in all areas of our life. Now, the focus of this coming year is really on embodied change. There has been a huge amount of talk about change and, and the importance and why we need change, but very little action on embodying it. So this year is really focused on offering alternatives, not just saying there's a problem, but actually saying there is a problem, here's a solution, here's a pathway out of this problem, and really leaning into your talents and your skills in order to offer those alternatives and offer those solutions that allow people to move forward. So we're into a space of embodied change, which is very appropriate given the fact that it's an 8-year where we're talking about creative solutions. And that's what we are being tasked with in life in the coming year, and particularly then going to be tasked with in a business context. So you as an entrepreneur are going to be presenting alternatives, you're going to be challenging narratives, you're going to be shaking things up a lot in this year. Now, when it comes to working with your clients and with your community, it's worth understanding that they will not be as far ahead as you are, and therefore they will be potentially in a space of deep confusion and uncertainty. So the more confidence and conviction that you have in your work and your path forward, the easier you're going to make it for people to understand how to connect to that. There is a very unsettled space at the moment where people are needing to try and anchor backwards, because that's where the stability is, or the sense of stability is, when we need to be moving forward. And what that's going to mean is that we're going to need a group of people who are going to be leading the movement into the new. with confidence and with trust in themselves and total self-belief. So that's why we have to come back to these questions of who am I, what do I do, and why do I do it? Because if we don't have the answer to those questions, we cannot be the leaders that take people forward. So it's very important that we're very strong and clear in ourselves so that we can lead our communities forward by giving them tangible steps that they can take, which links very much into one of the themes that we're going to need, and that is clarity of our process and clarity of our outcomes. Now, we may well have been stepping away from that as a core aspect of our communications because we wanted people to focus on different areas. But what we have to understand is that now that we are going to be the bridge for those people to move from an old dynamic into a new dynamic. So we have to give them the language and the structure that they need to have the confidence and the courage and the faith to take those steps across the bridge into a new dynamic, where different rules are going to apply. But we are in between those worlds at the moment. Now, you will be over that bridge, but you need to become the bridge for your community in order for that to take your business forward. If you aren't able to anchor what you're doing into a very solid framework or language that they can understand, they will not move with you. And that's going to result in a huge amount of frustration for you as an entrepreneur and probably a lot of instability in your business. So this focus on clarity of who am I, what do I do, and why do I do it is going to give you that foundation for you to be able to put all of that together. So you are going to need to get very clear on your process, on the milestones and steps of transformation that you offer so that people can understand what it's going to offer them and how it relates to their current position and the position that they know that they want, but they don't know how to get there. So those are very, very important aspects of what you need to be focusing on in business in the coming year. Now, there are going to be a few themes that are going to show up. One of those is going to be around procrastination. This confusion that I was just mentioning and not knowing what steps to take. Procrastination is going to be incredibly painful in the coming year. So that might be something that you can tap into as an entrepreneur when you're looking at, looking out to your community and saying, well, what do they need? They will need ways to break themselves out of that procrastination. Or it might just be pure hesitation. But there will be something that they need in order to make them take an action, and they need to take some action because they need to move. And if they don't move, it's going to be very, very uncomfortable. Like I said, you need to actively step into this energy flow. And if you don't, then it will be really, really uncomfortable. So procrastination is one thing. Another is going to be around blind spots. Now, we all have them. But what we're going to see in the coming year is the level of wisdom that sits within our blind spots. There is a whole world waiting for us in our blind spots. And that links into something else that came through very strongly. And that is that there is a wealth of information on the periphery of our understanding and awareness that is ready to come into play and is waiting for us to either see it or become ready to work with it. So focusing on your own personal development and your capacity to absorb more information and energy and understanding is going to be pivotal to your success in the coming year. Linked into that, both for you and for your clients and community, is another theme, which is around willingness to change. Now, whenever there is change, there is discomfort, and many people dig their heels in and resist it with all of their might. The willingness to change is going to be the thing. But we have to create the easy pathways, if you like, for people to be able to do that. Because if it looks too hard, people will dig in. They'll be incredibly frustrated, but they will feel that there is stability in where they are. At least it's known quantities. Whereas what they need is to move into a new dynamic. So that comes back to you being willing to change and willing to bring in more information, more dynamics, be agile and flexible within your business so that you can adapt as the year rolls out, but also that process of laying out the steps, putting the stepping stones in place, putting the bridge in place, making it easy for people to take the action that they need to move forward. Once they've moved into that willingness to change, that willingness to move forward, that willingness to take action, then their entire experience of their situation is going to shift in an instant. So if you're well prepared for that, then you can position your business effectively to help people move through. So there are some core themes. I've got a little bit more depth of that on my blog, which I'll put in the link below the video, so you can go into it in a little bit more depth. That is an overview of what we're going to be experiencing. Very important for you to have that clarity. Let me just share with you some core business development tasks for you in the coming year, or areas to focus upon. And I shall need my glasses for this. The first is to have clarity on this elevated and expanded vision that is actually sitting within you. You do not have to continue on the path you've been on. There is a much more elevated and expanded opportunity for you in the coming year. And that's what you need to get some clarity on at this point in time. Then have clarity on the shape of your work that drives the solution to its next level. We aren't offering the solutions that people have already had. We're offering new solutions, new embodied change. So you're taking the solution to the next level. So get clear on how your work is leaning in towards that next level, which links to another area, which is having sight and expression of your bigger impact. So you may have been focusing exclusively on how what you do impacts an individual. You need to go bigger than that. You need to go out to their communities, out to the societies, out to cultures, out to country, global impact. We're going right out. I want you to follow all of that you do out to its global impact, so that you understand how you are leading, and you're leading change through practical steps, which means you are going to need a strong presence and consistently held energy. So if there's one thing that I would advise you to do this year, is really work on how do you lean into that presence and how do you hold that presence consistently across all of your business activities. And the other thing you're going to need is a powerful, clear, concise message that challenges old timelines and sets out the new ones, which has a focus on solution. We're looking at embodied change, so we want plenty of solutions. So those are your areas to focus upon in the coming year, which will help you to keep your business streamlined and focused on moving forward. We want to be keeping simplicity at the heart of our businesses this year. If there are too many avenues that you're pursuing, you'll dissipate your energy. So when you're putting together your strategy and your plan for the coming year, phase it out in a manageable chunk so that you're really focusing deep on one thing, getting that in place before you move on. In terms of your communities and your clients, expect to see a lot of frustration as people struggle to get the clarity that they need or the confidence that they need. There will be a sense of stuckness for many, and that's going to be very uncomfortable. So if you can get clear on how that's going to affect them, you're going to have all you need to create a very strong, powerful message which calls them forward. And one thing I would say to you as a leader is to lean into what's coming, even if you do not understand it. The understanding comes through experience. If you can model this leadership of movement with trust, without the knowledge, then you are going to help other people follow you into that unknown. It's going to be a really big year for change. It's going to be a really big year for business. So one thing I would say to you is resource yourself and support yourself in the ways that you need. Now, that does not always mean having business resources in place. It may mean changing your working pattern. It may mean making time to go and do something else that is non-work related, but that's going to nourish and support your business. So that's an important area to focus on in the year ahead. So as I say, it's going to be a big year for change. You're going to be leading that change. You're going to be shaking things up. And it's going to be a time when we can actually move into, in a year's time, I live in hope that we will be saying, and things have shifted dramatically. Conversations have changed, narratives have changed, practices and behaviors have changed, and the landscapes that support our businesses and our lives have also shifted. And you're going to be a key part of that. Take care. Until next time.